Special knowledge is power. Secrets of ancient mystery schools. Thank you for tuning in to Hidden Sovereign Truth Revealed. Knowledge has always been power. There is knowledge hidden from most human beings that has been sequestered and passed down from generation to generation through secret societies and the mystery schools of Babylon, Egypt, Greece, and Turtle Island up to modern times. There are higher and lower levels of initiation into this special knowledge. As many as 95% of the members of these secret societies will not realize the agenda until they reach the highest levels of the pyramid. These are the foundations for the global manipulation and control structures that presently rule the world and guard the mental, spiritual, and emotional prisons we occupy as human beings. Through these hierarchical structures, with only a few at the top with complete command of the esoteric knowledge, the global elite rules billions of people in an almost seamless interlocking grid. Esoteric meant only for the initiated. Sometimes the hoarding of such knowledge was not for negative purposes, but because it would come under attack if known. Human beings have at root an innate fear of change and prejudice towards innovation and new ideas. The believers in the flat earth theory and the established political order resisted the concept of the earth as a sphere and burned heretics at the stake. Spiritual knowledge can be used for good or evil. A hammer is just a tool and can be used for construction or negative intent. Many of these secret societies hoarded knowledge for the purpose of power and control over others, especially the ignorant masses. Ignorant people were excellent slaves, servants, and cannon fodder for the incessant wars and conflicts of history. To maintain privilege, class, and the ruling family bloodlines required massive efforts to keep the truth from the people. Balance negative with positive energy. The aim of these secret brotherhoods was to not only hoard knowledge, but to persuade the mass of people to believe any old nonsense. This secret knowledge included ancient maps of the world, evidence of an extraterrestrial presence on Earth, how to exploit gullible human minds, various natural energy grids, and to manipulate them to their advantage. When used for negative or control purposes, this sacred knowledge becomes distorted. The distorted aspect of this esoteric knowledge has been largely a misunderstanding and misapplication of the universal power of love, without which the power structure generates and feeds off negative energy. Without love, knowledge will always be misused. It is the mind without the heart, and inevitably leads to destruction. Mainstream puppet journalists make liberal use of the phrase conspiracy nuts when describing those who express anti-government sentiment. To the average government-educated citizen, any story regarding the U.S. government betraying its own people appears ludicrous. Yet Americans have been groomed over generations to believe in political puppet shows designed to mask a complex and quite different reality, as have the citizens of other countries. In reality, global economic interdependence was set up to ultimately control the peoples of the earth through manipulation of food, energy, and financial resources. But the real puppet masters behind most ideological power struggles are rarely chronicled by historians because they choose not to be seen. The history and activities of many key players in the current struggle for global power, including the Trilateral Commission, Bilderberg's Council on Foreign Relations, CFR, and the United Nations, is well documented. Throughout time, people have sought to control others. Deceptive manipulation techniques have been used and fine-tuned over many centuries. Such ploys, like this often played out scenario, one creates conflicts where people fight each other and not the true instigator. One is never seen as the instigator of the conflicts. One supports all warring parties. One is seen as a benefactor who could end. Ending the conflict, of course, requires control of an unruly populace by the unseen third party who manipulated the game all along. The strategy is clearly successful. People today are so busy chasing their tails over endless, deliberately created conflicts within a web of misinformation that most of them will never know who really destroyed their country or why. The desire to rule the world goes back to biblical times and beyond. One such plan for world domination was documented over 2 centuries ago. The Protocols of the Elders of Zion outline steps toward a one-world government by the year 2000. The plan discussed the manipulation of 3 world wars. The idea was to use the fears and weaknesses of people as a means of eventually enslaving them. Absolute control of mainstream media was recognized as essential, as was government control over education. History has unfolded almost to the letter of this amazing document written so long ago. Any rational being could not dismiss such evidence as coincidence. Yet all attempts to reveal the roots or activities of this or any branch of the hidden power structure have been uniformly squelched and ridiculed by today's propaganda masters. There are many branches, indeed separate power structures altogether, vying for global domination in this hideous chess game. Insatiable desire for wealth and control of societal ideology has created an unseen elite bent upon enslaving the masses. Today, there is not a single nation on this world that is not so indebted that it could exist without credits from the international bankers. The world waits, poised like a house of cards, with a tornado heading its way. When the storm hits, will the people beg their governments to save them? Or will they come together and cast off this rotting mantle of oppression for good? There is nothing to be said totally against a world government. It is a desirable goal, if only it is led by sovereign people who have the well-being of their fellow man on their minds and hearts, and who have the integrity to develop such a world government openly and above all, freely. The world government presently being developed is for the elite, and for the elite only. Thus, the rest of humanity is kept in the dark and is thus enslaved. Here is a brief list of some of the secret societies that have been influential in American and world history. Freemasons, Babylon, Egypt, and Hebrew Kabbalah school. Freemasons still worship a god called Jabulon, Jah, Jehovah, Hebrew. Bull, Baal, Babylon, and On, Osiris, Egypt. Knights of Malta, Knights Hospitallers of St. John, controls the Vatican. Maltese cross is on the Nazi hat with a skull and bones. Cathars, attacked and destroyed by Catholic Church. Knights Templar, based in France, were attacked by the Vatican and went underground as the Knights of Christ became the first modern bankers in the Western world, funded the royal families of Europe, and had them up to their neck in debt. The Red Cross, adopted by the Knights Templar, was present on Christopher Columbus' ships to the New World. The Red Cross goes on humanitarian missions during war or emergencies as a front organization. The Priory of Sion, Order of the Rosy Cross, Royal Society, one of the most influential bodies regarding science. Rosicrucians, the Dragons, the Black Nobility, Skull and Bones at Yale University, Bavarian Illuminati, split ranks with the Masonic lodges of Germany. League of the Just, precursor to Communist League which spawned Karl Marx and the Communist Manifesto. Arab Brotherhood Grand Lodge, Egypt, Egyptia Brotherhood Temple, El Armana, Order of the Golden Dawn, Bohemian Grove, where the global elite participate in secret rituals to Moloch, Baal, the sun deity of the Phoenicians, symbolized by the stone owl. Feminine role in her story. There are major imbalances, including the domination of the negative over the positive energy and the male over the female. The reemergence of feminine power or goddess energy is essential to the reharmonizing of the earth. Balancing male and female. What has been passed off as women's rights, though, is just a female version of penis power. True feminine power comes from the heart, not the intellect. It is not about emulating the male power or wanting to achieve what men have achieved, but about a different way of being altogether. Let women be women and be honored and respected for it. Let the feminine be valued and honored for the expression of heart as much as the workings of the intellect. There must be more emphasis on this balancing in all the sovereignty work. The secret societies are almost entirely male-dominated and patriarchal, with women excluded from the knowledge and decision-making. Women have their own power and esoteric knowledge by virtue of their sex, secrets around creation and birth, which men have coveted and attempted to replicate and control. The Illuminati and Freemasons. If you want to trace the sovereign power structure to its roots thousands of years ago, I'd recommend Pandora's Box by Alex Christopher or Secret Societies and Their Power in the 20th Century by Jan van Helsing. Both reveal with exciting detail the long lineages of bloodlines up to the present day. The Truth Shall Set You Free by David Icke is also a good reference work. The best single reference work on the Bavarian Illuminati in fact and legend is The Illuminoids by Neil Wilgus. The Bavarian Illuminati was founded May 4, 1776 by Dr. Adam Weishaupt, a professor of canon law at Ingolstadt University. He formed a secret society called the Order of the Illuminati within the existing Masonic lodges of Germany. In 1785, the Illuminati were suppressed by the Bavarian government for allegedly plotting to overthrow all the kings in Europe and the Pope to boot. Sounds like the kind of folks our founding fathers fared well with. The Illuminati and the Freemasons collaborated for a while, then split ranks. After the headquarters of the Illuminati were raided by the Bavarian government, the Illuminati operated under the cover of the League of the Just. Karl Marx was hired to update the writings of Weishaupt, which resulted in the Communist Manifesto, 1848. The League of the Just became the League of the Communists. The House of Rothschild was involved in the founding of this partly religious, partly political movement, which Nikolai Lenin was also a member. The Russian Revolution, 1917, was funded by both American and European international banking families. When Nikita Khrushchev visited the United States, he boasted that communists would bury us and that our grandchildren would live under communist rule. This may be the prophecy of the day coming true before our eyes. You Americans are so gullible. No, you won't accept communism outright, but we'll keep feeding you small doses of socialism until you'll finally wake up and find you already have communism. We won't have to fight you. We'll so weaken your economy until you'll fall like overripe fruit into our hands. Thank you for tuning in to Hidden Sovereign Truth Revealed. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support.